Warning, this podcast was produced by two men who still think that swearing is both big and clever. As a result, it contains quite a lot of it. Therefore, this podcast is not suitable for children, unless they're really fucking cool children. Yes, people, Dave Fensom here with another episode of Pop Collaborate. And listen, as always, I am here with the main man, Mr. Chris de Greer.
I am the main man. Hello, everyone.
Yes, he is so modest.
What we are here to do is to talk about Blur and Parklife.
Yes, we are.
Right. If anyone has listened to our episodes before, anytime we've mentioned Blur, I've usually been like, I like some Blur songs. And Dave has usually gone into some sort of silent, seething rage. Because you have a real kind of big thing about Blur.
Strictly speaking, I don't about Blur. I do to a degree, but it's not really Blur that's the problem. Mm-hmm. I don't like Damon Albarn.
Right.
I really don't like Damon Albarn.
Right.
I don't like Damon Albarn on an ideological level, and I don't like Damon Albarn on a musical level. I don't think that's to say that he's not produced some good songs. There are things that he has done that I like, but I do it through a seething wall of resentment.
Sure, okay.
I'm as always going to go into this album with as much of an open mind as possible. I didn't particularly care for Suede, and I quite enjoyed that Suede record.
Oh, of course,
right?
yes. No, that was a nice surprise for us both. I didn't think you'd like that one bit.
No, but the truth of the matter is there are particularly this era of Blur, there are very, very few things that I find quite as musically objectionable. And I'm well aware I'm going to be at odds with a lot of our listeners on this.
Sure.
I know, we've got the feedback from Twitter. I know this is an album that means an awful lot to a lot of people.
Yeah.
We will see if that gets through to me, or if I just have to explain to people for a long amount of time why they're wrong.
Okay. And whenever you say that, like this is one particular era of Blur or Damon that you have particular issues with.
Yeah.
In my head, I imagine that you weren't really particularly aware of Blur as a big thing before this. You probably had seen their name and stuff. You heard the big singles.
No, exactly.
But this was whenever Blur went massive. You know, This is when they blew up and went worldwide. And so I imagine this is, again, when you would have
it wasn't
big exposure to
it
them.
wasn't that I was like, I've got an opinion on Blur, and no, this is something different, and now that opinion has changed. I very much became aware of this record through the people that like this record, through this record being fairly ubiquitous. You know, obviously this is the vanguard of Britpop, isn't it? Really, we're not quite in the full throes of it until next year, really, when it becomes. But if you are an indie, I was never really an indie music fan, but I was an alternative music fan in a regional club where those two things went hand in hand.
Yeah.
You know, you were aware of how big this was going to be, because people didn't just like this. This was their whole fucking personality.
Oh, absolutely. People, changed the way they dress because of the videos that were on this, or the styles that Blur were representing, and it was a real landmark record.
Yeah, it hit people in a certain way, and it very much kind of made people feel a certain way about stuff. It very much made me feel a certain way about stuff.
Yeah.
This isn't some affectation. This is, because sometimes it's quite funny to have a bit of shtick, isn't it?
Totally.
Right?
Yeah. You do a bit of hyperbole.
Yeah, and I've tried to re-examine my feelings about all of this, right?
Okay, we'll see. Well, just a little bit of kind of background on the way this came through. It was released in May of 1994, and it was number one for 1 week. So it was only a 1 week number one, but it stayed around for ages and ages, because once the hype started, and once people had heard it, and they, single after single after single, it just kept on going, and so it was in the top 40 for top 40, I think, for 90 weeks
Yeah.
straight after release. It went 4 times platinum. It's their biggest selling studio album by quite a long way. It sold 27,000 in its first week in the UK.
Yeah.
So, there was a really big hype about it. And the thing is, they had been away for a little while. Not ages. Like they put out their first album, Leisure, in 1991, and they put out Modern Life is Rubbish in 1993, and it was the one that fell quite flat, and people didn't really buy it.
Yeah.
But it was where they started with the kind of the very English thing and writing songs about being British and the lifestyles, etc.
Yeah.
And so this was following on from that. Modern Life is Rubbish didn't quite hit with people. This one did, and so it was a continuation. They'd been away for a year or so, and in that time, enough had happened. We'd had Suede's, and people put that as the start of Britpop. And you kind of have Pulp with His and Hers, so that's coming through. There are bits and pieces where there's kind of the very beginnings of this scene.
Yeah. I mean, Oasis have got like singles out at this point as well.
They had one. They've only got one single out at this point.
Cigarettes and Alcohol.
No. Supersonic was the first one. So Supersonic had come out, but the album hadn't come out, and nothing else had by this point. But there was talk about them in the press.
Yeah.
Big talk. And so there was these seeds of the scene were starting, and so it was absolutely ripe for Blur to come through with an album that fitted very nicely into that niche and sort of take off from there. It was, it was a big jump start for them.
Sure.
I loved Leisure when it came out.
Yeah.
I loved that baggy sound of Blur. And so for me, whenever they stopped doing that, you know me, I don't like change. If a band is doing something well, I'm like, do that again. Write different songs that sound like those, and I'll be happy. So whenever they came out with Modern Life is Rubbish, I was like, oh, okay, this isn't the same. And there's some of it. For Tomorrow was all right. I didn't like Pop Scene, which was the single between the two albums. And I was like, okay, maybe Blur aren't my band anymore. And so whenever Modern Life is Rubbish came out, I was like, maybe this is now not my thing. Fine,
Yeah.
I'll let this one go. And then whenever Parklife came out, and it was more of that, again, I was just going, all right, I don't know if this is for me at all.
Sure.
I had to know it to an extent because I was, by this point, DJing in a lot of indie clubs.
Yeah.
And so every single that came out was big. I had to know all the stuff. I was getting people asking for album tracks off this album, from almost straight away. And so I had a knowledge of it to an extent. I don't think I ever owned it at the time.
Okay.
I know that other people I was DJing with had it, and so if someone said, oh, can you play this album track, I'd be like, oh yeah, such and such is going to do that in his set.
So this wasn't a big record for you then?
It wasn't, no. I understood how important it was because it was massive.
Oh yeah.
But no, it wasn't a big record for me.
Okay.
And I've not listened to it at all in the interim, in full.
I mean, I've never heard this whole record from start to finish,
Sure.
but at the same time, I was in enough pubs, the Cock in Luton, they had this album on.
That's a pub, by the way. It's not just some bloke.
Yeah, not just a Cock. They had this on the jukebox, and there were people that would just sit and put the whole album on.
Right, sure.
So I have heard this album.
It'll have been in the various places.
Yeah, I would have left the pub while that was happening. But yeah, anyway.
Okay, well, let's have a look at the album cover. And I have a copy of it here because this is in every single charity shop in the world. So I picked this up for like 50p. And it is a very, very iconic cover.
Yeah.
It's the two greyhounds.
I quite like it. It's a couple of nice greyhound lads, isn't it?
You do like a good-looking dog.
Oh,
Yes,
it's a good-looking dog, you know what I mean? I mean, what it represents, the working class lads going to the dog
Well,
track.
indeed, that's very much.
Here we start to have the fucking problems with, this kind of cartoon image of the working class as this fucking lovely, hey, oi, ribbit, hey, oi. Do you know what I mean? This kind of cuddly faux cartoon, this patronising. Do you know what I mean? It's like the Cool Runnings of working class people, isn't it?
Right.
The Disneyfication. The idea that Damon Albarn is a working class lad is so incredibly fallacious.
Yeah,
it's like you're a working class lad, and where did you write these songs? Oh, in art school.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant, mate. Okay, things must have been really, really hard. If the day I turned 18, my mum said to me, "It's get a job or art school.
Or put it art school.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm not making light of, obviously working class people find their way into art school and things along those lines. What my issue, and we'll hear more of this, is that Damon Albarn is a cultural appropriator. He's a tourist. He's someone that likes to present himself as a working class person with this kind of very idealised version of it that is disingenuous and offensive.
Right, okay.
And many people don't see it that way. I always have.
Of course. And I suppose you do have to wonder, or at least posit, that the affectation that he's putting on as a working class person for this album especially, was it a character? Was it, okay, I want to do this because these are the stories I want to tell, and so is it a character, or is he actually trying to pretend that that's what he is?
Look, man, like Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins was a character. It doesn't mean that wasn't fucking quite offensive.
Indeed.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I understand the separate. I know Madonna wasn't pregnant during Papa Don't Preach. I mean, I understand the separation of art, but it was the entire presentation at the time. And you notice that he's dialed all of that back in later years.
Oh, sure.
Anyway, it is what it is, right?
Sure. Back to the cover. I think it's a decent cover. I think because of how big it is, there is no separation of there's no one who doesn't know what it is.
No.
You're like, oh yeah, Parklife, and it's an iconic image. It's huge in the just like the culture of the 90s.
Yeah, if you look at that picture in your head, it goes ding, ding, ding.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? It does.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, student walls.
Oh,
across
absolutely.
the 90s.
Absolutely.
Attractive women that you'd love to sleep with, but couldn't because you knew you'd have to listen to their music.
I see. That's why we didn't sleep with those women.
Oh, that's exactly.
Now
the
I
reason.
remember. Yeah, okay. Right. Well, shall we get into it then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, shall we? Here we go. Okay. So first song, number 1, and this was the first single.
Yes, it was.
March 1994. Got to number 5, their highest chart placing to date.
It's called Girls and Boys.
This is Girls and Boys. Yes. And I remember this coming out.
Yeah.
And I was baffled. I thought it was a joke.
Mate, it's a fucking... It's a novelty record.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
It's like this song. I just set my stall out immediately. Okay, I hate this song with a fucking passion. Burning, searing, white orange. I loathe this song. Right, it's one of my most hated songs. Right, listen to this fucking voice.
Yeah.
Right, but even if I separate my dislike of Damon Albarn, this is a novelty record.
Oh, totally. I genuinely thought it was them taking the piss. I didn't think that this was the... I probably heard it on Radio 1. It was on the evening session or something. Oh, this is the new single by Blur. I was like, no, it's not. This is not the new single by Blur.
I'd rather listen to Star Trekking by The Firm.
Yeah.
Vocally, just... I just hate this vocal so much. All of the affectations in it, like these kind of forced flat notes, this I mean, this fucking... it's like EastEnders cosplay, isn't it? It's like, it just... And smug. It's so smug.
Okay, all right.
Endingly, irredeemably fucking smug. It's just like, it's just it's like having a conversation with some coked up posh bloke at a party as he tells you how everything's the same for him and just fucking talks down his tones.
Right. No, I can tell that
for me, Damon Albarn, this is the thing that I find antithetical about the whole Britpop movement. Right? For me, like the highlight of Britpop is Pulp. Right? And to me, Damon Albarn is and always will be the girl from Common People.
Oh, I see. Okay, right. Yeah.
And there we go.
Right.
I don't get this song. I find it infuriating. I find the vocal terrible, the fucking music terrible. I don't like it at all.
Right. No, fair enough. I didn't like it at the time.
Yeah.
Like I say, I It is. It's extremely cheesy. And the thing is, I know it is supposed to be kind of a pastiche and a bit of a parody of those shit songs you hear in Ibiza. You go out and it's just lads' holidays. Yeah. And it's supposed to sound like one of those really bad songs. But in doing so, to me, it's become one of those really bad songs. Yeah. I don't think there's enough separation. It is just, you've gone on a journey to try and sort of cock a snook at something, and you've accidentally become it.
Absolutely, yeah. If your way of parodying Agadoo is to write Agadoo, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, first of all, Spitting Image already did it with the chicken
true
song.
Enough, yeah.
I get it. You know, but it's not got enough to say to justify creating something this offensive.
Right, yes.
It's Oppenheimer again, isn't it, really?
Comparing this to Oppenheimer.
Well, they had a small little fucking point to prove, so they made this.
Right.
No way, man.
And also, I am entirely prepared to give Blur or Damon the leeway to write these songs about, because he's seeing this stuff. He went to Magaluf or something and he saw this all happening, and so he's like, oh yeah, this is, you know. I mean, I think as well, there's a lot of it going, isn't it such a shame that, you know, working class people, all they can do if they want a nice holiday, they can't afford to go on a fucking, you know, interesting cruise. They have to do these package holidays, and this is what it comes down to. It's like drinking, trying to get a fuck, and dancing to shit music and discos. And so I can see that he's writing a song about that, and to tie it into that, he's made it sound like one of those songs. But it's not clever enough. It's not funny enough to withstand the fact that it's just not very good, and is a bit. I find it very, very annoying. Yeah, like intensely annoying. I genuinely think it's a brave move of them to put this out as the first single, because if you're coming off the back of Modern Life is Rubbish, where you've got Chemical World and For Tomorrow and these kind of stuff that we will see very similar things in other songs on this album, to come in with this one, I think that is a brave move. I think it could have backfired badly, and it didn't. For some reason, everyone went, oh, lols, this is brilliant.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I felt the whole time, because I heard this song a lot, because you couldn't avoid the song.
Fucking everywhere.
You know, if you were the person that didn't like this song, you had very much lost the argument. Do you know what I mean? You, like, society had spoken, but, you know, it had very much that whole, every time I heard it, and, you know, I'm not arrogant enough to think that I'm right over loads of other people. I'm glad that people kind of get something out of it or whatever. Sure. But, you know, it was very much that Emperor's New Clothes feeling every time it was on. I was angry by this song 30 years ago, and I'm still angry about it now. Yeah, and you know, you may be able to say, get some perspective, dickhead, and grow up. But
right,
it's just such an irritating song, and the like, with the whole kind of resurgence of them and these Wembley Stadium gigs and how revered they are, and this idea of the place that they've taken in pop culture, it just makes me very, very annoyed at the world.
Okay, because you're not denying their place in pop culture is the thing, because they are huge.
Well, no, because that's the nature of pop culture. The populace decides it.
Yeah.
Whether they deserve it or not is another matter. But anyway, again, not for me to decide. But no. you need your outliers and people that hold a dissenting opinion.
Well, there you are. I did read a good few articles and stuff about this where people were saying that the bass line especially was a little bit Duran Duran.
Yeah, I mean, there's
elements of that. Like, and you can see, for its time, maybe Duran Duran were doing some things like that, but
Duran Duran were just kind of the next evolution of
it was new romantic meeting pop.
Yeah, but they would just continue in what kind of Nile Rodgers chic and things like that. You draw that line from like Cameo and all of that stuff into there.
Yeah,
those
kind
of
big funk. Yeah,
yeah, and one of the great strengths of Duran Duran was the bass playing and the song.
Right, sure.
But, it's that kind of disco-y thing. But out of everyone in Blur, the person I dislike the second most is the bass player. she's making cunt, right? Because he's a cunt as well.
I mean, you mentioned Spitting Image, right?
Yeah.
And to me, this is like a Spitting Image song. If they had said, do an updated version of the Chicken song, something that, the 19-year-olds from Essex are dancing to in, Benidorm.
Yeah.
This is the sort of thing they would have, like, girls who love boys, who love boys, who love girls. That's the sort of thing it would come up with. I think
this is the thing. One of my least favourite things in comedy is someone that thinks they're going out and doing something really kind of clever and are very full of themselves and the smugness of how clever this thing that they're doing is. And you're like, ultimately, this isn't funny.
Right.
What you're doing is not. It's not as clever as you think it is, and it's not as funny as you think it is. And therefore, what you're doing is entertaining your own ego and wasting everyone's fucking time, right? And I feel very much the same way about this song, because it's like it's not as clever as it thinks it is. It's a terrible piece of music, and therefore it functions on no level. But
apparently we're wrong.
But the world disagrees with me.
Yeah. It got exactly number 5 single, and I was having to play this in the indie clubs I was doing. I was having to play it at the student nights, the big sports society ones. This was just a huge dance floor filling song.
And the interesting thing is, like, we've done albums that are much bigger than this that we've slated. We've talked about bits and pieces of Phil Collins records, which sold infinitely more copies than this ever did.
Elton John,
and I'm able to talk about those with a level of detachment, because the thing about this is in theory my world.
Well, it's adjacent, at least.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that it kind of makes you feel lonely a little bit, because one of my favourite things about musical tribalism, if you want to describe it that, for better or worse, is always, I've met most of my best friends through musical tribalism. All of my best friends, probably, and not in a gatekeeper way, but that thing of like kind of liking the same things and understanding implicitly what you like about it. That's always been quite important. And this is like a thing to me where loads of people that I know really do like this, and it just makes me feel quite. Anyway,
I'm someone who happily admits to liking an awful lot of Britpop music.
Yeah.
But this album never did it for me.
Okay.
But yeah. Okay.
Well, let's see. Okay, so let's do. That's what I would describe as the very pinnacle of inauspicious starts.
Well, quite okay, but
massive fucking single. Yeah. But by no means the biggest single on that record.
No. Highest placing, but in terms of impact.
No, if you look at if you look at total listens on Spotify, I mean, I think maybe second highest amount of listens on the record out of that record, but there's a really big jump off between number 1 and number 2.
Fair enough.
It probably doesn't take a lot of brains to do that.
All right, well, let's do track number 2. And track 2 is Tracy Jacks.
Yeah.
And I remember this one being asked for. This wasn't a single at all. No, exactly. But it was asked for at plenty of nights. And I remember whenever I was DJing with Bernie, who we both know, for example, or even Andy, who I DJed with at Legends, who loved this album. Yeah. This would be one of the kind of it's like, I'm going to play this. It's an album track, but everyone loves it, so I look cool. Yeah. And so this did get played in clubs.
Oh, I know this song very well.
Yeah.
And again, musically, it's less annoying than the other one. It's just that kind of a fine, bouncy indie tune.
Maybe we're back into like, guitar riff and actual drums.
And you can see why people play this in clubs. It's built for an indie dance.
Oh, yeah. It's a sing-along.
Bounce around with your point.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
And again, the vocals in this they're a little bit nails down a chalkboard to me.
Right.
Ba-bo, ba-bo, ba-boo. You don't sound like that. You don't.
Sure.
That's not how you sing now, is it? Anyway.
Well, no. Do you prefer this bit, like this kind of the chorus bit, to that, or is it all just the same?
I mean, I'd say like the Tracy Jacks.
Yeah.
That is a bit that
really
hurts it really kind of makes me recoil from it.
Yeah.
When he kind of dials it back in a little bit, it's fine. I mean, what really gets to me, coming up in a minute, is those woo.
Oh, woo.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like a finishing move for me.
Right.
I genuinely, I was listening to this earlier, and I just wrote down, I feel tortured listening to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like this bit was fine.
It's all right, yeah.
Well, I feel like shit like this that make Northerners hate us. Well, not us, from Northern Ireland, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Oh, I mean, there's a quote from, I think, Liam Gallagher, who said upon release of this album, or when asked about it, he said, "This is just Southern England personified. This album," and it was in a very dismissive way, obviously. Yeah.
I mean, I find this song, the lyrics of it, like the whole thing, I'd rather be here and be normal. It's like, fuck off, mate.
Right, yeah.
Fuck off, you wacky prick.
I mean, and this is the first one that I think where, Auburn is trying to narrow in on. He's talking about a particular person to represent, some stuff. And again, they talked about Britishness a lot, Britpop, but this is absolute Englishness. This is a very specific type of English person.
Yeah.
And so it's always said that they're going on from the stuff like the Small Faces and the Kinks, and you talk that they take these kind of little niches of life and make a song about them. And in this one, it's a middle-aged man called Tracy, which makes no sense to me. Have you heard of Ice-T? I think I have, but I don't understand why. You've got all the names in the world at your disposal. You're going to write a song. You can choose anything you want. Oh, let's make it Tracy.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. You do what you want. Anyway, so this is a middle-aged man. He's like a businessman. He's not happy with the way his life's going. He takes a train to the seaside and goes skinny dipping because, hey, fucking live a little, mate. Live a little.
Because they've seen Reggie Perry in it.
Right. Point. Sure. Yeah. And then he, in the end, bulldozes his own house because he thinks he needs to start from scratch or some shit.
Yeah. Brilliant. It's like a Mr. Man story.
It's weird.
It's fucking shit.
This bit here, right?
Oh,
so the oohs, for some reason, that kind of the bass line that's just doing its thing. This is the outro. For some reason, it reminds me of Les Claypool because it doesn't sound, and it's not quite doing a proper tune. It's a little bit off for me.
Yeah, it's that kind of little bit slappy.
Yeah. I think this is a catchy song. And to be honest, I think Girls and Boys is a catchy song because it's undeniable. Oh, yeah, I can fucking sing you that.
Yeah, chlamydia is a fucking catchy
Indeed. I think
disease.
This is catchy, but it doesn't really do much for it. It doesn't tickle me the right way. And so I think it's fine, but don't really care.
And I'll concede both those points. Yeah, they're very, very earwormy. I understand why, if you've got no critical function, you might like this.
Well, there we are. You see? Yeah, we can agree. Okay, so track number 3. And this was the last of the 4 singles that they released. This is End of a Century. This was released in November of 94. It got to number 19.
Yeah.
All right.
And yeah.
So again, it's him.
No, this is the point where I fucking just go, this is a genuinely great piece of songwriting.
Oh, great! Because I think this is fantastic.
This is look, right. This is
right. Nice.
This is this thing. It's the point where I have to just go, this is great songwriting, and it's enough to overcome my considerable qualms. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
I still think there's some terrible lyrics in this.
Okay.
But look, listen, he's singing. The fucking harmonies work.
Yeah.
He's dialed it in. It's got a fucking emotional fucking...
There's a swell to it. Yeah.
There's a swell to it. It makes me feel things that I don't want to feel. Because, but this, the worst excesses of everything are dialed back in, and it's, fucking the lyric, we wear the same clothes because we feel the same. What a brilliant lyric that is. What a fucking brilliant lyric that is. And it's just a great...
And, incredibly on the nose for Blur fans.
Yeah, absolutely. But, it's just a great, uplifting little song. And I think that almost makes me more angry.
Oh, good. What are the other ones?
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's just like, but it's just like this... This is a great song that I have tried quite hard to dislike over the years, but
so do you remember it from the time as well?
Yeah.
Now
this song, I think this is a brilliant song.
Yeah,
I genuinely do.
I remember this coming out, and I remember being very happy that there was one that a single that I liked and I could play in the clubs.
Yeah,
because it's not as jumpy up and down as the other ones. but it's still, you can play this in, mid-set, and I think this is really good. So I was like, yeah, fucking wicked, good. Here's one.
I still find that backing vocal quite annoying though.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
anyway.
Fine.
But yeah, it's a very good song.
And it's another one where it's talking about, Brits and their lives. This is about a couple who are in a rut. Once they get together and the spark is gone, all they're doing is like sitting and watching TV, just being boring and just silently resenting each other. It's also, I think, Damon contemplating his... I mean, he was like 26 when he wrote this, and there's a line, the mind gets dirty as you get closer to 30. So he's seeing where he is right now.
Yeah.
He had been in, obviously, a long-term relationship with Justine from Elastica.
Yeah.
I think by this time it was finished. I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah.
But so I'm assuming he's talking about what has happened to him and how he sees relationships, and just wouldn't it be nice if there was some fun again?
Yeah.
And so I think this is really good. I think it's a nice sentiment. It's only 2:46.
Yeah.
This is one that could have gone on for longer, and I'd been fine with it.
Yeah. It's got quite an epic feel. It's surprising how short it is.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. If I hadn't looked at it for this, I would have assumed it was a 4-minute song.
Yeah.
Because it's got everything in it. I'm very pleased that there is something that for you to get out of this.
Everything I'm going to say about this album is what I genuinely think.
Yeah,
about
no, of course,
it.
Of course, that's excellent. Well, in that case, let's keep the momentum going, the goodwill, and play track number 4. Oh well, it couldn't last. I'm assuming. I mean, I'm just assuming, but the look on your face and the growl.
Fuck this song.
I mean, this is like the archetypal Blur song. This is the one.
Fuck this song. It's a cunt.
Right.
Fuck Phil Daniels.
Oh, right.
Right. Fuck the fucking faux madness affectations within this.
Right, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Mainly, I don't even need to say it, do I? But
Parklife. It was the third single. Got to number 10.
Fuck.
I mean, it's jaunty as fuck, this one. It's absolutely, exact. There's no way for me to think about this album and not think about this song and not think about, how this was so big. Hugely big.
This song's position in British popular culture makes me more ashamed than the Brexit vote.
Well, okay, right. But yeah, this is the one
and
where...
you can draw a line between the fucking two as well.
That is also very probable. This is the one that if you had to, or I'm sure people have, but if you were making a now that's what I call Britpop album, this is an obvious one. Because it's just so emblematic of the whole thing. It's not, by any... I don't think it's the one that necessarily everyone would go to first. I think more people would probably go Oasis or something like that. But this is top 2 or 3 of everyone. If you had to name a Britpop song, Parklife. It's that huge. It's fucking massive. And whenever it came out, I couldn't get away with not playing it in the clubs. Every night. I was hearing this every time I DJ'd, and I didn't like it from the start.
Yeah.
I think it is overly enthusiastic and, hey, aren't we a bit wacky?
It's as I've said, I don't want to repeat myself, but it's that, it's that kind of happy chappy kind of Mary Poppins in of working class culture. Yeah. And it's what's your favourite film? The Italian Job. Do you know what I mean?
Right, sure.
It's this kind of small-minded, fucking petty-minded. Aren't we fucking great here in England? Insular-looking kind of like Little Britain mentality that it's a kind of thing that we sneer at Gammons for doing,
right? Sure.
Yet somehow a whole swathe of alternative-minded,
our generation,
kind of right-thinking people embraced this. I won't say without irony, but the wrong ironic slant on it, because if it's super ironic, it's sneering at people, right? And I don't think that's the intention of it. But
I don't either. I think this is supposed to be just a good fun this is what Damon saw whenever he went to the park near his house. This is the characters he saw and thought it would be. And again, I say the Kinks and Small Faces. This is the sort of thing they would have done. It was this is Sunny Afternoon. This is that sort of thing.
Mate, it's a carry-on movie.
But it is. It's exactly that. I've got. The video as well has elements of the carry-ons and on the buses and that sort of thing. It's a pastiche and a harking back to that sort of thing. The fact that they got Phil Daniels on there is them going, "Hey, weren't the '60s wicked?" It's that sort of thing. Yeah. It's like, oh, well, if we bring these elements into it, everyone will think we are the Kinks again. That sort of shit. And I will say that I think it's a very well-crafted song. I think it does what it does really well because it's instantly catchy. Yeah. Like, horrendously instantly catchy.
That riff, man. Ding, 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 ding. It's impossible to separate the two, but,
And the chorus is hooky as shit.
Oh, mate,
of all the people. It's really memorable. Of course. It's also very annoying.
Yeah, it's weaponized fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I actually think though. I think the inclusion of Phil Daniels, him doing it rather than because originally it was going to be Damon doing it.
Yeah,
I think him doing it. I think it's genius. I think it's absolute genius because he does bring a more authentic Cockney geezer thing to it.
Yeah,
and the associations that people have with him, I'm like, that fucking works. That's very clever.
Yeah,
yeah. No, I think that bit is insanely good, and I think that this is a very good pop song. I find it annoying is the only thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with any of those things.
I'll tell you what I do think about this as well. I recently watched I can't remember if it was probably on Netflix or some shit documentary about Britpop.
Yeah,
and it wasn't an 8-part series or something. It was just like an hour long, and obviously Blur were a big part of it, and they were interviewed about this, and there was a lot of stuff about, and this in 94, Parklife came out, and the documentary made me so nostalgic for that time, because they were playing a load of other songs that I liked as well, but in 94, I was, 19, I was having the great time, I was, meeting loads of brilliant people, and there was so much music I was getting into, it was crazy. We say it every episode on this, in the amount of records that were coming out that I still think stand up.
Yeah.
So just as a time period, I love that time. And I love a load of Britpop stuff. And so I find myself forgiving some of this song because I was like, it does make me feel good.
I get that with a lot of things. Mm-hmm. I get that with an awful lot of things. I think Suede, I got that with.
Sure, you did, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, there's just something about this song and everything it represents. It reminds me... I don't know. I don't know what the best way to word it is. I think there's something that really fundamentally bothers me, that my generation and the time that I felt the most relevant in the world is going to be remembered and noted by this, when there were so many other things happening.
Yeah, exactly. Very interesting things like dance music coming through, hip hop still being
exactly hip-hop,
expanding,
skateboard culture.
Yeah, sure.
All of these things, all of these fundamentally very 90s things that were just completely and utterly ignored. And as such, won't be remembered in the same way.
Well, exactly. If you were watching a program on Channel 5 called Remember the 90s, you are not going to hear some obscure Warp stuff from 1994. You are going to hear Parklife and you're going to hear Live Forever.
And this is it. It's like the fact that, I guess, alternative culture has kind of been labelled with this. And at the time, it didn't matter. I didn't need to. I could just ignore this shit because there was so much else going on. But I guess maybe people from other generations feel the same way. People that... There are probably thousands of people that are really annoyed that Led Zeppelin are the thing that people remember of 70s rock bands
and
by.
Not the Edgar Winter group.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, sure.
Right? And, I don't want to be that dude, right?
Well, no, you don't want to be... Oh, well, I'll tell you, to be honest, the Beatles weren't that good. There was so many other good things happening. Yeah, okay, calm down, Grandad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But this is the band that kind of make me do that more than any other.
I see.
And I don't like that necessarily. And I think going into this, I was hoping for a bit of like... Okay, calm down, Grandad.
Right, reassess yourself.
Going in knowing I liked End of the Century, going like, okay, there'll be more of that.
Okay.
And I thought, mate, But yeah, this song, it just fucks me off, man.
Yeah, no, I even at the time, I understood that it was a huge hit, so I played it all the time. I never enjoyed playing it. I was like, I want to do a different track, I want to do End of the Century, or I want to do something that isn't, or I want to just play There's No Other Way again, because that's my shit. But, you know. But one thing I do like in the legacy of this, and I know it's hack as fuck, but I really do enjoy when someone on social media puts up a big, wordy, long post trying to, you know, make themselves sound impressive and intelligent. Yeah. And at the end of it, someone else just chimes in with Parklife. I do enjoy that.
Fair enough.
Just in a fucking get a grip here. I do enjoy that. So well done, Blur, for that, if nothing else.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. Okay,
and nothing else.
Track number 5, then?
Bank Holiday. Sounds like Elastica.
It really does.
Oh no, Carry On Punk Music.
I mean, this it reminds me of whenever they did Pop Scene. They were trying to get out of the baggy thing, and so they went all kind of fast and punky like that. I don't remember this at all. And even though I remember as a word, Bank Holiday, I remember like wording on the album. Yeah. I couldn't have said what this sounded like.
I mean, I obviously don't like this.
Right. Oh, actually, I wasn't sure if you would or not, because it doesn't do much for me, but I don't really like. Sure.
It just does my fucking end. It sounds like the Young Ones doing a punk song.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's very exactly. It's overly snotty and brash and that sort of thing. One thing I reckon when they played this live, I suspect every venue went fucking ape shit, and I suspect there was pogoing like you never saw before.
I mean, I know it's pogo that I've seen before at
actual punk gigs.
Yeah.
There's a line in this though, because essentially it's called Bank Holiday. It's about bank holidays, and again, what they mean to people in Britain, because it's a free holiday and you get the day off, and you can go to the beach or you can just chill out and drink a beer. But yeah, there's a line. There's a lyric, right? The kids are eating Snickers because they're so delicious. Terrible line.
Yeah.
Then their sticky fingers, then mother loses her knickers. And it's not like there's a big pause between the kids are eating Snickers because they're so delicious, then their sticky fingers. Yeah. Then mother loses her knickers. It's just run on. It's a run-on sentence. And so I'm going, okay, so are you telling me the kids are having some chocolate, and then they get sticky fingers because the chocolate gets in their fingers, and so then they finger their mum? Is that what happens on bank holidays? Is this an English thing?
Yeah.
Right, because I was confused.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the Orange Marches, man. It's confusing if you're not part of our culture.
Right, sure, yeah, exactly. Don't question it. Yeah. Don't be racist.
Yeah. You used to, of course. I'm surprised he didn't say marathon though, rather than Snickers.
Well, indeed, because harking back.
Yeah.
Didn't life used to be good back when?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't actually mind that, and I'm not a fan of that style of music at all. I don't mind it, and it's only a minute and a half long.
I bet Steve Lamacq wanked himself rigid over
Jesus
that
Christ,
song.
yeah. Oh,
I bet that's his favourite song.
Yeah. I mean, I remember. I may have told this story before. He DJ'd at a club I was doing before. It was at the Edge in Luton, and he did his 1 hour set, and I'm sure he got paid a silly amount of money for it. And he finished on Blur Song 2. Yeah. Which is like a minute and a half long. Yeah. And he then got on the microphone and said, "I'll tell you what, mate, that's a brilliant song. The only bad thing about it is it's too short," and played it again.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and I suspect this is the same sort of thing. He would have done the same thing with Bank Holiday. It's like, it's just too good not to play twice. Bam. Yeah. There you go. We're about a third of the way through the album. So let's take a breather and look at what else was going on album-wise. Right?
Yes, let's do that.
So, the top 10 albums in the week of May the 1st to the 7th, 1994. Number 10 is Mariah Carey's Music Box, which is just hanging around like a very nice smell. Number 9, The Cranberries. Everyone else is doing it. Why can't we? Which we will see at number 1 later on in this series. Number 8, Ace of Base, Happy Nation. Similar story. We will see that.
Yeah.
Number 7, Judith Durham and the Seekers, a carnival of hits, which is the greatest hits of the Seekers. Number 6, Toni Braxton, self-titled album.
Nice.
And I imagine that was huge in the States and probably did decent over here. Yeah, exactly, one of those ones. Number 5, Best of Marvin Gaye. Number 4, and here's an album that we have have a lot to say about Censor and Stacked Up.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, new entry at number 4, which is fucking... Right, for a band, Censor, right?
Yeah.
They were not a crossover. They never made it big. They didn't have hits. The first single, Eject, didn't even chart. And so for it to be a number 4 record is a big deal to me.
Oh, mate.
Because I was a huge fan, and so I was waiting this. I didn't realise anyone else was.
I remember I walked into Switch... and they played this.
The Switch was a club in Luton.
They played the first night I was ever there, right? And it was the one track that they played that I was just like, "What's this?
Wow!
What is this?
Right? Tell
what
me
is
more.
It? I need to hear that.
No?
It's called Censor, and it was in the day because the single had been and gone.
Okay, sure.
So I couldn't get it.
Yeah.
Couldn't
forget
stream
about it.
Couldn't stream it.
You can't just...
Couldn't go on eBay and buy it.
No.
Couldn't go on Discogs.
No.
I could go to a local record shop and see if they had it. They didn't. End of that conversation.
Yeah.
When's the album coming out? Who knows? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And it was like a year, I think, before the album came out.
It was ages, because, Eject came out in 93, and now we're in May 94, this came out. Yeah. But, big album, that one. Big album. So big.
Yes, indeed.
We should probably talk about it at proper length.
We need to talk about that.
Okay,
record,
we'll probably do a little special on that.
And it will do no downloads, but we will not
There'll be
care.
4 very excited people listening to it. Yeah.
So I know we've done 2 specials recently, and I know if you don't like your specials, then whatever, but fuck it, it's free.
Censor, mate. Number 3, Deacon Blues Greatest Hits. Fine. Number 2, Pink Floyd's Division Bell, which was the last one we did, obviously. And there are a couple of weeks I'm going to look at for the other albums that came out, because Deacon Blues Greatest Hits went back to number 1.
Yeah.
So, fuck it, we'll take that week as well. So, other stuff that came out, Chumbawamba released Anarchy, number 29, and I really just didn't like them at all. I didn't like them before they released Tub Thumping, and then I liked them even less.
Yeah. I mean, the whole kind of crusty thing was... it was an acquired taste.
Yeah, surely. And the thing is, I love a load of the bands that would have been in that scene.
Levelers,
I enjoyed the Levelers.
Back to the Planet.
Ned's. Back to the Planet, I really enjoyed that one single, Teenage Turtles. I listened to it again relatively recently, and it's fucking dreadful.
Of course it is.
I really enjoyed it at the time.
All your Dreadzone records.
Oh, God, I never enjoyed Dreadzone. Never got that. No, I don't want fiddly-diddly violin, proto-crust punk dance. Never worked for me.
I think if someone goes to me, well, it's like folk music, but we've added a bit of dub.
That pass.
No
hard
thank.
pass.
No thank.
The Fall released Middle Class Revolt, got to number 48.
One of their 7,000 records.
I know, exactly. That was the one that month. Skin released a self-titled album, went to number 9.
Yeah.
Skin.
Well,
got
sorry.
Brit rock.
Well, we won't be talking about that, will we?
No. Biohazard released State of the World Address.
Nice.
And that only got to number 72 in the UK, apparently.
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, I had that on probably week of release. I had that's the one that had the That's How It Is, y'all. That's How It Is.
Right.
With Sendog on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but that seems right.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of big rock club hits on that album, I'm sure. I'm sure I was playing something off that.
Yeah, Wrong Side of the Tracks.
Right.
I was on there.
But there was the State of the World Address was a song as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. So I mean, dude, I was banging at Biohazard at that time.
You went to a few times, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw Biohazard a load of times. Yeah, Biohazard, all that kind of New York metalized hardcore that was coming out on Roadrunner. I was banging to that.
Sure, yeah. Socks pulled up to the knee, long shorts,
exactly,
basketball tops.
And bear in mind if you're listening to this going, this guy really doesn't like the Blur record. Yeah, I like that Biohazard record. So
well, indeed.
So there you go. Make of that what you will.
Did you go and see them with Dog Eat Dog?
I've seen Dog. I saw Dog Eat Dog so many times that the bass player knew me and my girlfriend by name.
Yeah.
And I don't look back. I don't look back without regret. No, I do. Fuck it.
Fuck it. Absolutely. Sunny Day Real Estate released Diary, and I didn't know them at the time at all. I don't even remember reading about them at the time. But then I just always heard, years later, hear them referred to in these lauded terms.
Yeah.
For Sunny Day Real Estate. I was like, oh yeah, well they kicked off some of the kind of the emo movement.
Yeah.
But I have never checked them out.
I listened to one of their records at the time, quite liked it, but never owned it, and have kind of completely forgotten about it.
Fair.
again, because someone put them in the same category as, like, oh, you like them because you like quicksand.
Oh, I see. Well, so yeah, you
that
investigate
kind
on
of
that.
Yeah, that kind of what was then emo core.
Sure, yeah. Right, okay. A couple more. One, which I suspect is only really for you and me, G-Love and Special Sauce.
Oh, man.
The
I like cold beverages.
Indeed, yeah.
Put them in the fridge, put them in the fridge, put them in the fridge.
So this was May 94. In probably July of 94, I went over to New York and visit my dad over there, and he was in charge of the Knitting Factory Club in Manhattan. And so that I was helping him there, helping him. He was letting me go to the club and, pretending to let me plug a lead in here and there to feel useful. But I was seeing bands every day. First time I saw Low would have been, summer of 94 at the Knitting Factory. But I also did see G-Love and Special Sauce there. Nice. And I thought they were great. This was like 19-year-old me going, oh, this is really cool. And all of the people who worked there, who were obviously more into jazz and avant-garde because it's a knitting factory. But even the bartenders who were, just young punks in bands, they were like, this band's fucking shit. Nice. I was like, wow, this is great fun. Yeah. And they gave me such a hard time for liking G-Love. Right. It's gibberish, absolute gibberish. But no, I think it's a good album.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time for it.
Yep. And the debut album by Weezer was out in this week as well.
The Sweater Song one.
Yeah, the Blue album. And I didn't particularly like it at the time because the first I heard of them was Buddy Holly, and I thought it's a bit cheesy and chintzy.
See, I really liked Sweater Song, and Buddy Holly put me off.
Right, I don't think I'd heard Sweater Song. First one I heard was Buddy Holly, and I was like, maybe not. I've since gone back to it, and there are some brilliant songs on there. I still don't think Buddy Holly is great. I think it's far too... I mean, now it just sounds like Weezer because that's what they do. But it's like, this is an AI-generated Weezer song. Yeah. But the album came out, and I think it made a much, much bigger splash in America, and much more big impact over there. But it made some impact in the UK. I was getting people asking for...
Poor man's Ween.
Oh, well, Ween. Piss up a rope.
What a shame.
Yep. All right, there you go. Some decent stuff there. And Censor, which we will definitely talk about more at probably ridiculous length.
Yeah, get ready for the 5-hour special.
Yeah. Mate, the thing is as well, Censor is surely one of those bands where we could just, phone one of them up and go, all right, Haggis, can you try to come on?
I wonder if we can get fucking Haytham.
When Haytham, I imagine.
So, if you know Haytham, if you are listening to this and you know Haytham, give him a shout to us, because we'd like to talk to him.
Yeah, man. All right, good stuff. Okay, well, I'm afraid we have to get back into the middle bit of Blur, so let's do that. So track number 6 on the album is Bad Head.
Yeah.
And I don't remember this at all either, from whenever I had the album on somewhere else in the background.
Primal Scream.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're back into the mellower side of things.
So this bit, musically, it's quite nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm finding this nice.
See, if you, like me, hate Damon Albarn, it's quite painful to hear.
Oh, really? Because you like the melody but you don't like him, or just because...
I just don't like the voice.
Right.
I just really don't like the voice.
Oh, but he's not doing his chirpy Cockney in this.
No, but I just don't like this voice either much.
I don't like the chorus in this, I must admit. I think the verses are better. Actually, I mean, the chorus isn't terrible, but I think the verses are much nicer.
This isn't, this isn't the worst song on this record.
Mm-hmm. No, I actually think this is very nice.
I think it's a bit bright and perky, that kind of pan-pipey guitar, or whatever that is.
Right. Really? Oh, because I think this is very downbeat overall. I think the whole sound of this is a very subdued and downbeat thing. No, it doesn't bother me that bit. Overall, this reminds me of one or two songs on Beck's Sea Change album. It has that feel to me. And I love that album. It's all-time favourite.
I love that album. Again, not my favourite of those albums. My favourite is I prefer Mutations over.
Right, fair enough.
Sea Change, but that's very much a pick your favourite.
Oh well, indeed,
situation.
Yeah. No, I do. I really like this. It seems to be about breaking up with someone, and the lack of contact with them. It gets you into bad habits. So you're drinking, you're sleeping all day. Potentially a bit of heroin. There's a line in there about get a touch of flu, which was slang for for heroin by then. But yeah, the wistfulness in this appeals to me. Maybe because I listened to it over and over and over, and you have to do for this, it grew on me. Mm-hmm. But I was pleasantly surprised by this one.
Yeah, no, I don't like this.
Right, I see, okay. Yeah, no, I think because it's a bit more personal and introspective, and not, oi, oi! It's...
No, I understand that.
I think I would have preferred if more of the album had been like this, for sure.
This song doesn't make me annoyed.
Okay, yeah.
But that might as well be... I just...
I get you that, yeah. No, it's still not real.
It's just a big disconnect for me. His vocal and his voice just...
It's not genuine.
It's not even that. It's just... It's sitting really high in the mix in this. It's like, for example, Clint Eastwood by the Gorillaz. I think it's a great song. It's got Damon Albarn vocal in it that doesn't bother me in the least.
Okay, yep.
Because it's just, it sits really low. And the way he's singing there isn't actually that dissimilar to how he's singing here. But saying about where it is in the mix, I mean, I don't really like the tune either, particularly.
Right, okay, well, that's a bad start then for you. Yeah, sure.
I don't know. It's not one of the ones that kind of makes me annoyed, but it doesn't connect with me at all. It just kind of floats by.
Okay, that's fair. I think it's one of the nicer ones on there for me. But maybe it's because I don't remember at all, and so I'm coming to it a bit fresh. Yeah. I don't have, any baggage with it whatsoever. So perhaps I'm just pleasantly, okay, this is one that I haven't heard and is okay.
Bag of flu,
yeah. Okay.
Right, so the next one is called The Debt Collector.
Right.
Is it?
Apparently so.
Is this what we call a comedy interlude?
Yes. I mean, this is basically their version of a skit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I am a defender of enough 1993 hip-hop albums that it would be disingenuous of me to really go to town on a fucking pointless skit.
Yeah.
But, Damon Albarn isn't on this, really, so...
No.
Plus, big tick in the plus column there.
No, it's basically, it's a cross... It's like a waltz and a fairground ride tune.
Yeah.
And how long is this? This is 2 minutes 11, so... that's longer than it should be for an interlude. Yeah. But this is the song that originally they wanted to have Phil Daniels on. They wanted him for something, and it was going to be this music and him reciting like a poem over that. This fucking clarinet or whatever it is. Why are you doing that? But Damon couldn't write one that he liked enough in time for it to be recorded, so they had to just leave it as an instrumental. But then, because they'd talked to Phil Daniels, they then got him for Parklife, which, fair enough, is probably the right way round, because I cannot imagine a poem over this.
Yeah.
Sound very bizarre.
But imagine if they'd done that, and we'd all not had to listen
to Parklife. Yeah, true enough.
Right.
Yeah, no, this is a bizarre one. It is. It's a little interlude.
This is the end of the first side of the record, isn't it?
No, the next one is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because it was 8 tracks on the first. This is track 7.
Right.
I think the next one is. I think this is... I consider this pointless. I think we should move on immediately.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, fine.
Next one's called Far Out.
Okay.
So we've got sci-fi, radio theatre tropes coming in here.
Lots, BBC Studios. Yeah. And it's the only song that isn't sung by Damon Albarn.
Yep, sung by Alex James, which is nearly as bad.
Yep.
And he comes in a minute doing his very, very best Bowie impression, doesn't he?
Oh, yes, but it's fucking grating. Because I don't imagine he sounds like this.
No.
And
he goes, no.
Yeah, sure. And it reminds me of Adam Buxton's piss take of Cilla Black.
Yeah, Laura. I've written, God, he's a hateful. She's making droning cunt.
Oh, God.
Liar!
What? Yeah, I mean, this is essentially a list of stars and moons that you can see in the galaxy.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is. And how long is this one? This is 1 minute 38. So it is absolutely another interlude. Yeah. This is, I guess they maybe went, Alex was just pestering them. I've written a song. Please, sir. So I'll fucking put it on then. Okay, fine. But it's what? It's a list of moons.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, this is the sort of thing that you would try and write...
Look, we all record in my parents' garage. You have to let me have a song.
My father owns Essex, so please.
Yeah.
I've seen people saying that this is sort of a pastiche of Syd Barrett. Whenever he was doing his kind of weird stuff. And I don't know enough about Syd Barrett stuff to know if that's true or not. If it is, fine, but not fine, because fuck, don't do that. This is deliberately kooky. This is all a little bit hat stand to me.
Exactly that. It's well done. You've been very wacky. And, you know, I mean, there's plenty of stuff I liked that was wacky. I
mean, we just talked about Ween, mate, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, but no. It sounds like a song that you would make up to try and remember the names of stuff for an exam. You wouldn't then put it on an album.
Exactly.
Now, I consider this pointless and think we should move on immediately.
Again, fair enough. Right, so the next one's called To The End.
Okay.
And to spoilers, it isn't.
This is the second single. It's got number 16 in June of 94. Not their biggest hit, obviously, number 16. And this is a strange choice, I thought, for the second single. If you're following up Girls and Boys with this, it's an interesting choice.
This has got a cinematic feel to it. This is another one of the songs on the album that I don't mind.
I love this song. I think this is brilliant.
And I would say Don't Mind is probably underselling it slightly. Although it does sound a bit like Millennium by Robbie Williams.
Oh, it really does.
Yeah.
Oh, hugely. Yeah, no, you can tell Robbie... in his fucking cocaine binges, stuck this album on a lot.
Well, you know what that's sampled from, that, don't you? Millennium. That's
Bond, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Moonraker.
Yeah.
So, I mean... And essentially here, for me, like, Damon Albarn's singing, not pretending to be, like he works in a warehouse or anything.
Yeah.
And it's got... The whole song's got kind of a bit of a warm, like, kind of Phil Spector-y feel to it, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's got that Walker Brothers as well, but it, French pop from the 60s, obviously then added to with Letitia Sadler of Stereolab doing the French bits.
Yeah, it feels a bit more kind of transcendent than the other stuff in the record. It feels like it's an outward-looking record rather than this kind of insular, fucking, look at us, aren't we brilliant being British?
But there's a huge, like, emotional feel to this again. Yeah, this I really, I get something from this. It's not just a chant along. It's like, this makes me wistful.
Yeah, 100%.
Really does. This is. It's To The End, and it's a song about two people who realise they're coming to the end of their relationship. This is not working anymore. It's gonna finish pretty soon. And so even though there's the double meaning of we made it to the end, you could go, oh, well done us, we made it all the way to the end. It's like, no, we have now made it to the end. So, yikes, we're going to have to go our separate ways. But there's the mixture of sadness, but also just resignedness and ennui and fucking boredom that the whole place has got you there.
Yeah,
I think really comes across. I think it's very well put together. I think it's a gorgeous orchestration as well.
Yeah, this is a lovely song. It's got something to say.
Yeah, a little bit of fairground music in the background there, not necessarily needed, but
I quite like it.
This is the only song that isn't produced by Stephen Street. This is Stephen Hague has produced this one, who's more known for kind of his New Order and Pet Shop Boys work in the 80s. But he does all the orchestral stuff on this. He's arranged that and also plays accordion on the song. Which, again, not sure if we need.
So what we're saying is this lacks a bit of street spirit.
No way! Now we're talking.
Yeah, it's going to fade.
Fucking hell. Yeah, no, I think it's an absolute banger.
This is, I would say, my second favourite song on the album.
Okay. No, great.
Possibly my favourite. No, second favourite.
Okay. And I think the fact that, Damon is doing the more kind of evocative vocals, there's a sort of a straining to hit, the bigger reaches compared with Letitia Sadler's absolute monotone jusqu'à la fin. That works very well for me. I think this is terrific. Absolutely terrific. It was a single, like I say, but this, I couldn't have played this in the clubs. This wasn't a dance floor song at all. This was like maybe the start of the night, of course.
Bit of fingering in the booths at the end of the night. Right, let's play London Love.
Okay, London Love. So this is track number 10 now. There's 16 tracks on here, we should point out. So we're now we're bang into we're past the midway point. This is number 10.
See, here's that squelchy bass, right?
And
we're going to get this. This is the Duran Duran-y one.
Oh, I see.
That's for
Okay,
me.
sure. But it's very 80s new wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can imagine this being Talking Heads.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But you can actually... You can see the influences that Blur have a lot. That they try and take a bit of this, bit of that.
Just, it ruins it every time, mate.
See, I don't mind this bit. I think this is okay. But when it hits the chorus...
Look, what I've said here, right?
I think that's fucking dreadful.
Falsetto is so horrible, man.
Dreadful.
And I do respect that he's got a variety of vocal styles. He's not just doing the same thing. He's trying to do something creative here. And I would be an absolute curmudgeon, and I'm trying so hard not to be, which I know you probably don't.
It might not come across listening, but yeah.
But anyway, but I just don't like any of the choices he's making.
Okay.
Like, I just, this is all. I don't mind the tune here. The vocals totally ruin it, and then we're going to knock into them very, very dissonant guitars here, which to me just don't work with the context of the song as well. Yeah. And there's a point you get to when you start going, the rhythm of this as well. It's just very dun 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 dun.
Sure.
Dun. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about this bit, the guitars here.
Yeah.
I don't mind this. I don't mind it. I mean, I suspect, again, this is probably them, it's Gray and Coxon going, can I not just do something a bit more interesting? And they're like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. Go for it.
Yeah, but I'll do so, and I'll go, right, I'll just do this bit for now, and I'll put that in later. We put the album out.
We put
the album out, we forgot to put the thing in.
Yeah, right. I'll tell you one thing I discovered in reading around this, and I didn't... I would have put money on the fact that it wasn't the way things went. But in terms of the writing of songs for Blur, Damon Albarn does the vast majority of writing the songs.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I assumed that Coxon and James would write the songs. Yeah. They would jam some stuff, and they would go to Damon and go, write some lyrics, and he would do that. Yeah. But no, he's like integral to writing the actual tunes as well.
That doesn't surprise me, I guess.
It surprised me. It genuinely did surprise me. I didn't think
not so much from Blur, but just from the other stuff that he's done. But anyway,
well, no, I was surprised. And if you look at the credits on like who plays what on the album as well, yeah, fair enough. Dave Rowntree does drums and percussion and drum programming.
Alex Fruit Pastels.
Quite. Thanks, Dave. Alex James does bass, and he also does. He might be the clarinet, for example, right? Damon Albarn is like vocals, harpsichord, piano. He's got about 14 different instruments that he's playing in there. Fucker's got talent, like real musical talent. He can play a shitload of stuff. He's writing these songs. I didn't think that was the case. Right. I thought he was just, kind of...
dilettante.
Vocals for hire, stick this on top, and be the face of the band, the pretty boy, So I was genuinely surprised. I didn't realise that. I do have a lot more respect for him than I did for that reason. I was very surprised.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Nah, sure.
Yeah, anyway.
All right, well, let's do the next one.
Yeah. No, so this one's called Trouble in the Message Centre.
Fade in, always gamble.
So this is all quite nice. It's kind of Sonic Youthy in a weird way. The intro into this. This is a bit more mainstream than.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But that intro, ding, 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 ding.
Okay, sure. And then these chunky guitars. And I mean, I don't get on with that vocal. I know what he's trying to do.
There's something quite funny about this song, right? Well, I was listening to it and I was going, right, I know I don't like this vocal. Why isn't it annoying me?
Oh, right.
In a way it should do.
Yeah.
And I worked it out. And he sounds a bit like the comedian Tom Ward.
Oh, yeah.
And because I kind of like Tom, I kind of think I can't...
you have to let this one go?
Yeah.
I see.
And there's kind of there's a kind of a sardonic sense of humour in this, and there's obviously there's a sense of humour throughout all of it that I feel misses the mark quite a bit. But this one kind of works a bit for me.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I don't really like the song, right?
Right.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but that's because there's bits of it that's kind of almost enough for me.
Yeah.
There's
something. There's a nugget somewhere.
That's the plateau that's where I am with this record.
Right. Okay. I mean, for me, I think the chorus is catchy, you know, but it's something there. But I kind of like the scuzziness of the guitars. Again, I think that sort of late 70s new wave sound, be it like Nick Lowe or something like that. There's something in there that I have pleasant memories of.
Yeah.
But I think it's just overall a bit forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind the lyrics. It's Trouble in the Message Center is the name of the song, and it's about getting so fucked up and so smashed because that's what you do when there's nothing to look forward to in your life, that you're not in control of your brain and you're not in control of your actions. It's Trouble in the Message Center. So yeah, okay, it's slightly witty. Oh, here's some very Blur la la las. But no, I just doesn't.
Oh, it's very much an album track, isn't it?
It very much is, yeah. Yeah, I never would have got asked for this one, for example, as an album track to play in a club. I don't think it stood out that much.
No, it's boring.
Yeah.
It's fine. I don't hate it, and it's kind of got quite a few of the things that I should hate.
Okay, well, I mean, I do think it probably does. But, no, it's absolutely average for me. We're about 2/3 of the way through, so let's look at singles.
Come on in. What you got for me?
Well, okay.
Oh, God.
Yeah, the top 10 has quite a few new entries.
Okay.
So we'll go through these and see how you do. And then there's also a decent amount of other stuff. Number 10 is Real featuring the Mad Stuntman with I Like to Move It. So still, you know, Sounds of the Summer. You know, it's continuing to go on. Number 9, and I wish I didn't remember this, but this was big. Here we go.
While I'm far away from you,
oh my God.
Fucking hell.
Oh my God.
It was the summer of reggae. Bad reggae.
I haven't heard this for years, man.
Can you remember who it is?
Hang on.
It's a cover version of Dedicated to the One I Love.
Yeah. Oh, God, I mean, it really, it's got with a risk of sounding like a fucking racist. It really could be any of them. Couldn't it?
I mean, this is you know, if you put together a best of reggae '94, you wouldn't be able to tell. I'm sure who's what.
No, this isn't Aswad.
It's not Aswad. And it's not Shaggy and Pliers, because you'd know.
It's not Bitty McLean.
It is Bitty McLean.
It is Bitty McLean.
It's Bitty McLean. Oh, my God. Bitty McLean.
Bitty McLean.
The man behind the toothpaste.
Yeah.
Yeah, the toothpaste with fucking shards in it. Bitty McLean.
Shards.
Awful. Fucking dreadful. Also, I just remembered that I've got my little buzzers here. If you get it right, you get it wrong. If you get it right, you're going to get... You get it wrong, you get... There you go. So that's what we've got.
Right.
Okay, so that was number 9.
Yeah.
Number 8, and I've not got this because, Jesus Christ, the Man United football squad with Come On You Reds.
Yeah. Let's not listen to that.
Number 7 is Clubhouse Light My Fire, which I can only assume was a dance version of Light My Fire.
Well, you'd hope so.
Jesus Christ. Number 6, and I can't imagine you'll know the song, but see if you can spot the artist. Number 6, it must be decently big at the time. Slight clue, I don't think will help, is that we're going to have to do the full album kind of after we've done Censor.
Oh, God.
Open your eyes. Your eyes are open.
Jesus.
I mean,
that sounds like... That vocal sounds like Cliff Richard.
Oh, wow. I mean, I don't think he'll appreciate you saying that.
Does, though.
I think it sounds very, very like
who
it is.
It's Erasure.
It is Erasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Erasure with Always.
Nice.
And I don't remember that single one bit. Not at all. But yeah, we're going to have to do the full album on that one, so look forward to that.
Okay.
Number 5, and I couldn't find the original version of this on Spotify, so I'm going to play a version by, I think just the lead singer's done a solo version.
Smashing Pumpkins.
No.
Oh, is
But
that fucking Stiltskin?
it's Stiltskin, exactly.
God, of course it's that's what it is.
They might as well have called themselves Not Smashing Pumpkins.
Smashing Pumpkins.
Stiltskin with Inside.
There's not a version of this on Spotify.
The Stiltskin version. No, there's a couple of Stiltskin songs on Spotify, but there's not a version
How
of Inside.
bizarre.
Yeah.
What is that, I wonder?
Some sort of fucking label wrangling.
Yeah.
Wrangling, Jeans ad.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's the Ray Wilson solo version. And
That's probably somewhere at the Levi roots of the matter, isn't it?
Hey! There we are. Number 4, and you'll absolutely get this straight away. Never understood why this was a hit.
Yeah. It's Crash Test Dummies, obviously, yeah.
Yes.
It's such a weird song. And it's
really bizarre. I mean, what's he doing?
His best impression of the bloke from Typo Negative.
It sounds like someone is like he's trying to hold his breath, and someone's like, pressing his stomach, and he's trying not to exhale. Very, very.
It's
bizarre.
like how far can we take the Jarl? This is how
there
far.
you go. Yeah, fucking there you go, Eddie Vedder. Hope you're proud of yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. No, that is by the Crash Test Dummies. Number 4 hit. Just bizarre.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Number 3, and guess what? It's the Sound of the Summer. It's another reggae cover version.
Oh no!
And if you remember who this is, I'll be amazed.
Is this Sweets for My Sweet?
It is Sweets for My Sweet. Exactly, that's the song.
Sweets for My Sweet.
Who did
hang on.
this?
Fucking hell, man!
Exactly.
It's gonna be like Tipperary or something.
You know, fucking Stephen Hill from True Cult Pop is shouting at his speaker right now.
for sure, man.
Yeah. Hear me now? Oh dear. Are you gonna get it?
Is it Shabba Ranks?
No, it's not. It's C.J. Lewis.
C.J. Lewis.
Yeah.
Do you know what? If in an infinite amount of time I'd have got there.
You reckon? Fair enough.
No.
But no. Well, okay, that's number 3. Number 2 we had last time, which is The Most Beautiful Girl in the World by
Prince.
Symbol, as
Well,
it was,
yeah.
whatever. And then this, number 1, and I remember this so well, and I fucking despised it. And it was number 1 for ages, or at least it was hanging around for ages. And I couldn't find this, the single version on Spotify, so I'm playing this off YouTube.
Okay. Oh, is this fucking D-Ring?
No. If I can't
Have you? I don't want nobody, baby.
Uh-huh.
By
No, that's not what it's called. It's called The Real Thing.
Baby D?
No.
It's one of them, though. Isn't it?
One hit wonder, as far as I'm aware. Some Italian producer, I imagine.
Sonic.
No.
Can't remember.
Tony DeBart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I hate this song so much. I really do. And I don't mind a lot of shit Eurodance. But something about this song... Oh, man,
I mean, it just sounds
fucking
like
hate it.
so many.
I mean, that's Hadaway there. That's
A little bit of tweaking acid, though.
No, sure, absolutely. But, whenever he comes in with his awful, awful lyrics, fuck yourself. Oh, man. Just this weak bullshit. Bullshit. Right, anyway, that's number 1.
There are probably people listening to this going, this is a classic.
Oh, totally.
Tune, mate. Fucking
Honest to
tune,
God,
mate.
man. Some of the fucking 20-year-olds that work for me, right? They just love all this nonsense.
I bet
from
Mark, we used to work with that HMV. That's an all-time classic.
Oh, it certainly would. But yeah, they'll go like, oh, Speed Garage was amazing, wasn't it? Like, no, it wasn't. But yeah, you'd stick something like this on and go, oh my God, old school. It's like, oh, right, get fucked. All right, so that's your top 10, and far too much bad reggae in there for me. Let's have a look at what else was going on. So, now this one, you'll absolutely get this again pretty much straight away, I'd imagine.
Oh, yeah, Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
When shit goes down?
Nope.
No, hang on.
It's got to number 20.
Shot!
Lick a shot. What a tune. Absolute banger, this one. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-a.
Do-da, zippity-a.
Yeah, man.
Oh, mate, how was that? My AK.
Top quality. A couple of, I'll sort
Lick
of
a shot.
skip through. We had, actually, Sonic Youth, we just mentioned them, released Bull in the Heather.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
24. Yeah, it's okay. I listened to it again recently, and it's all right. It was when they were starting to go back into their more weird period. Yeah, they'd done Goo and they'd done Dirty, which was like their rock stuff.
Yeah.
And this was them kind of going, actually, fair enough, we've made our millions. No,
Here's some nonsense.
yeah, fucking here, yeah. Killing Joke released Millennium.
Yeah.
And they were one of the ones that I heard, the older crew speak about in revered terms, but I didn't know them at all, really. And so I was like, okay, I guess this is okay, but didn't do much for me.
No, I mean, I've kind of... Killing Joke I've gone back to retrospectively, and I like bits and pieces.
Oh, mate, they really have. They've got some great tunes.
I'd go and see them at a festival.
Millennium is a good tune, but you probably had to be there in order to go, no, they were really important and groundbreaking or whatever. Yeah, fine. Right, this one got to number 27, and we're going to have to do this album.
I know what this is.
Uh-huh.
Brain is just not working for these things anymore.
No.
It's James.
No,
it's not James. It sounds like fucking James, though.
Oh, okay.
You know that sounds like James?
I mean, a little bit. I can see that. I can see it. But I think this is... Because in my head, this is such a well-known...
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ, yeah. There we go. I needed the vocal, yeah. There you go.
Do you remember the name of the song?
No, it's not Linger. It's
No, it's not
What's it
Linger.
called? It's called Oh fuck! No, tell me.
No, Dreams.
Dreams.
It's Dreams.
There you go.
Cranberries Dreams.
Dreams. Yep.
There you go. Giving you a no on that one. But we're going to have to do that full album in, I don't know, 4 or 5
About
episodes
Christmas?
time. Yeah, well, indeed, next year. Autecker released the Bass Cadet EP.
Yeah.
Got number 56.
Never really listened to that much Ortega.
No.
I've heard a bit because Alan used to play it a lot.
Well, yeah, he would. Tricky released Ponderosa.
Oh, what tune!
Actually, I was going to see if you would get that. You probably would have got Tricky.
I'd have got Tricky. You can ponder. The song titles on that.
Same with me, man. They're like, is it that one? Is it that one? But yeah, what?
I'd have been
tune
like,
this
it's the
is.
first track on the Tricky album.
Right. This is wonderful.
Yeah,
this
I love this track,
absolutely brilliant.
This vocal went out. Wine's a weeping wine of the fucking great man.
So good. Yeah. No, Max and K, I still think one of those genuinely jaw-dropping albums.
Our pal Lee's good friends with Martine.
Is that right? Well. Nice. Right, so yeah, Ponderosa only got to number 77, that single.
And the fucking album, man.
The album, it was breakthrough.
My God, it's such a good album.
It was nominated for a Brit, wasn't it? Or no, so. Mercury. Max and K, wasn't it? Not Mercury nominated? Yeah, I think the album did a lot better. But yeah, that single only got to 77. Another one only got to number 78 was Whiteout. They released The Star Club, and I think I said before they were one of those ones that was kind of signed to Creation with big dreams, and then Oasis came, and Creation stopped concentrating on anything else.
We don't need any of you anymore. We've got this now.
Exactly.
It's this band that just it's really weird because they write these songs and then they just prints cash.
Oh yeah,
all this money arrives.
It's a mysterious machine.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Well, no. Well, fuck off then.
No. Right, this one. I suspect you didn't like them at the time, and you won't know the name of the song, but you might be able to guess the artist whenever he starts singing, and maybe it's least.
That's familiar.
This only got to number 86, but it was sort of a big Enemy Melody Maker tune. And I enjoyed this band. First album, anyway.
It's like fucking Buffalo Tom or something.
It sounds like, but no, the UK.
Nah, I'm not going to get this.
I mean, it was always. They were always said, "Oh, they just want to be the Smiths."
Right.
Gene.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, I don't
that's
know
for
that.
the dead.
So my only thing of Gene that I really remember was Tim, who used to be one of the Uber goths at the Switch, like fucking in a motorbikes and just like great skateboarder, all this kind of thing. Like, it was always super cooler than cool. And I remember like Gene, one of his favourite bands, and I was working in HMV one day. And he came back in like really shamefaced, and he went, "Oh, can I get my money back on this, please?" And basically, he thought he'd picked up the new Gene single, and he'd picked up something by Genesis.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was like Gene Loves Jezebel.
No.
Right, fuck me. Bless. You should have gone, no. It's Genesis, mate. You enjoy that.
Yeah,
you have a good time.
I think I did.
Fuck off. Yeah, no, I do like this song. I think it's very good. And I'm surprised it only got to number 88 because there was a lot of hype about that. But, that doesn't necessarily sell records. Only a few more. Levelers released the Julie EP, which was one of the ones that kind of passed me by. Got number 17, no.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige released My Love.
Did she?
Yes. Released
That's
My
what
Love.
happened to it.
Oh, mate.
Where was she keeping it? Basement.
It's not very big. You don't need that space. The Sheep on Drugs released Let the Good Times Roll.
Okay.
I think that was their follow-up to 50 Minutes of Fame.
Right.
And by this point, everyone had forgotten about Sheep on Drugs.
They'd made their point.
Well, it was like nascent Britpop, and Sheep on Drugs were never going to fit in there.
Nah, I mean, I remember, you used to get Jesus Christ, hold on tight, Jesus Christ,
and on a motorbike, yeah.
Used to get that at the club every week for a few years.
But not, I guess not in, May 1994.
Nah.
No. Will you get this? Every time I say, will you get this? And you always guess it wrong about who it is. Only got to number 55. I think you always go, I was going to say that as well.
Oh, yeah, well, that's probably what I'm going to do now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Take a look into some big gray eyes and ask yourself.
I don't know what this is.
It's called Big Gay Heart. Does that help?
Big Gay Heart, yeah, that rings a bell.
Uh-huh.
Big Gay Heart by...
Which is another fantastic choice for the Arse game.
Is it like fucking Evan Dando?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Lemonheads. Lemonheads,
Yeah.
Big Gay Arse.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Number 55. And the last one I've put in here, this got to number 62, but I'm confident that you're going to get this one.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I know that. It's straight with that. This is Mother by Danzig.
Mother by Danzig.
Mother 93.
Yeah.
Mother. Well, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I named that tune in one, motherfucker.
Fucking right. There he is. Yeah, no, exactly.
Also, one of the very, very, very best Beavis and Butthead piss takes.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
It was great that they could, break a song that no one had ever heard of. If it's on Beavis and Butthead and they give it some oomph, suddenly it's big. Yeah.
I really love this song.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's overblown in every way and all that sort of shit. But yeah, it's good fun. All right.
Northside Kings!
Oh, God. Right. Okay, there's your singles. Decent, I think. I think there's some nice stuff.
Yeah, some good shit in there, man.
I mean, there's also, like I say, far too much shit reggae in the charts.
Yeah, but but Danzig.
But Danzig.
Yeah.
Danzig, tricky. Yeah. All right, let's do the last bits of Parklife, though. Track number 12.
Yeah.
Clover Over Dover. A song about suicide.
Are we going with Baroque strings, are we?
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
I mean, this is probably one of the ones I went, reading the things like Damon did that. That's him on the harpsichord.
Yeah. That's quite a nice riff, though,
It is.
isn't
It is. Yeah. I think it is. I think that this central riff is nice and it works and it's catchy and it's not in your face, offensive, all that
It's quite
shit.
a clever little riff as well.
Yeah, definitely. What I don't like, I mean, again, even I'm not enjoying his vocal delivery on this.
Yeah.
But just for lyrics. And the thing is, it's a song about suicide. It's about sitting on the cliffs, thinking about throwing yourself over, and debating. Is it worth staying around for this girl and that sort of business? And so, deep enough lyrics. Deep enough concept. But there's a fucking line. I'd like to roll in the clover with you over and over on the white cliffs of Dover, and then I'd let you push me over. I mean, twice in verse 1 and 2, he rhymes over with over.
Yeah.
This is just shit lyrics for me. Really,
it's terrible.
Rhyming dictionary.
I don't think the vocal's the worst vocal on here. I think the lyrics bad. I think the riff puts it into more palatable territory. It's a bit incidental though, because they don't do much else with the riff.
Yeah,
it's very much kind of album tracky.
Yeah,
not a lot to say. I think the stuff to say is mostly negative, and you've said it
right.
Do like the riff, like some of the kind of the tones and some of the stuff that Graham Coxon's doing.
And
could have done without the harpsichord at the start.
Okay, yeah, and that the that sort of pass. But no, I think this is inoffensive.
Yeah.
I don't ever need to hear it again.
Not me either.
No, okay. All right, well, let's skip to track number 13 then, which is Magic America.
Yeah.
Right. And so again, we're concentrating. We've got a character called Bill Barrett, who's the cipher for whatever Allborn is trying to say.
He likes American stuff.
Yes, exactly. He thinks America's cool. He really wants to move there.
Yeah.
To get away from England or whatever.
Yeah, and for me, we're largely back in unlistenable territory.
Okay. Yeah.
This kind of stoppy-starty riff, like kind of horrible scratchy guitar, and Allbarn is most annoying. And this isn't America awful shtick. This kind of obviously what they're trying to do is they're trying to talk about the America. Don't people think everyone thinks America's fucking so good? Actually, over here it's really,
why don't you
really
like
good.
England? We've got shit beaches.
And it's like, well, it's not producing this shit, so maybe it's all right. Do you know what I mean?
This is it. I do. I think there is a very calculated insincerity because I have every fucking imagination that they do enjoy loads of American stuff.
Yeah.
They obviously like a lot of American bands. As we'd see down the line with their albums, they were really into the kind of the lo-fi stuff, the college rock scene. And so for them to be going, oh, fucking America, yeah, come on, just... you think it's so cool because you see it on TV and you hear the songs on the radio, but you've got everything you need here. It's very disingenuous to me.
Absolutely. Particularly at the time that America was producing some of the fucking best music in the world. Like, you had... you got a kind of the grunge scene giving way into that, like you said, that lo-fi college rock scene, which is there. Loads of interesting creativity stuff going there. Hip-hop is in its just absolute creative explosion, about to take over the world. Yeah. You got so much good stuff coming out of the States at that point. And I understand the idea of isn't culture, but again, I find that kind of culture warsy, pitting one against the other, just endemic of
choose a side sort of shit.
Yeah, and it's the thing that I hated. All the Union Jacks and shit like that. I hated.
Yeah.
I hated that about.
Right.
I don't like a nationalist jingoism in any form, no matter how you dress it up.
Well,
I'll make a brief exception for a bit of sporting fun every now and again, because that can be. But even that taken to an extreme becomes unpleasant.
No, of course it does. Yeah, of course.
But it's.
I think the reason they did this. I think there's two reasons they did this. I think one of it is because they were writing an album called Parklife about being English, and so it's an easy target.
Yeah.
You go, oh well, no, you don't want to go to America, mate. Let's stay here and listen to Village Preservation Society over and over. But also they did have the tour that they did for the Leisure album.
Yeah.
And that when they realised that they had no money, they were broke, and they had to do this huge tour, and hated every minute of it. They really fucking they've talked at length about hating being in America and being homesick and having no money and wanting it to end. And that's where they got the idea for the second album, the Modern Life is Rubbish album, and wanting to be like, oh no, we're going to be the opposite of America, because that music is in its ascendancy. We are going to go more into the Britishness and concentrate on that. And I get that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah. But
it was a reaction to being in a shit tour. It shouldn't have been a reaction to, oh, well, we don't like any of this music and we think Americans are pricks.
Yeah.
You know, I remember being 19 in 1994. I had visited America at this point. Like I say, I had visited my dad in New York, and I just was blown away by the experience. It was fucking incredible. Yeah. And I was watching movies and going, America looks really cool.
Yeah.
It just did.
You're the problem, though, man. They just put you right.
Well, apparently so. Yeah,
right.
Sorry, Blur.
Anyway, I just hate that fuck. I hate that kind of jingoistic fuck. Yeah. It's just, you know what I mean? It's Farage in a tracksuit, isn't it, that?
Right. Oh, God. Oh, there's an image.
Can you imagine?
Ugh.
Speed Farage.
Bravo, sir.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Man.
Lovely. Okay, there's only a few left. So, right, track number 14.
This one's called Jubilee.
Jubilee, right. I mean, that's very Blur, Britpop Blur there.
Yeah.
This is, we'd hear more like this from them over the next couple of years as well.
This is a song, like, lyrically, it thinks it's really clever. It's not that fucking clever. It's bog standard. It's boring. Bog standard, stomp, shit lyrics, shit vocals. Waste of time. 1 star for the special effects keyring that
right.
used to have.
Oh.
You remember you're on one of those?
Because there's the computery noises, yeah.
And he video games. He's pressing that and then like just stopping it,
right?
And that's what he's using. And okay, I'll give you 1 star for that.
All right.
Everything else, fuck yourself.
I don't mind this. I think this is all right. I mean, this is just bog standard indie guitar stuff.
So you've got a much higher tolerance for bog standard jangly indie.
Oh sure,
than I have.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely could do with Auburn toning down his delivery on this one. And this one, I don't even think he's doing the Cockney stuff too much. He's trying to be the sneery John Lydon type. He's trying to do that.
I think it's fucking somewhere between John Lydon and Brian Ferry.
Oh, you see, that sounds good to me, but I don't like what he's doing here. It's a bit much. I mean, again, I know it's all affectation, but this is a step too far for me, affectation-wise. It's like, fucking hell, mate. But no, I think the song, or the tune itself, I actually quite enjoy it. Rollicks along. And it's like under 3 minutes, just bam, 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 it's done.
Feels longer though, doesn't it?
Again, don't mind it. I bet you this is another one that Mac would be jizzing his belly button about, yeah. Right, okay, well, we've only a couple left, so I guess we should move on.
Yes, we should.
That's number 14.
So, and this is 15. So this one's called "This Is a Low."
Right, and realistically, this is the last proper song because the one after it is like.
Listen to this bit.
Yep.
Tell me something about this bit.
Yeah.
That no Blur fan would want to hear.
Okay.
All that intro there sounds like a Metallica ballad.
Ooh, yeah, in Black Album era, yeah. Right, okay.
Not anymore, obviously, but like,
okay.
Musically, this is very nice, isn't it?
I think this is incredible. This song, I think this is fucking astounding. I think it's the best thing they've ever done.
I've written low slung and affecting.
Mm-hmm.
I would hand on heart rather add a different vocal.
Really? Oh, you see, I think this vocal is wonderful in this. Really, really brilliant.
I think it's decent enough.
Okay.
I do like this song, right?
Good. Nice.
There's some really nice little bits of wording that he does, like "Not Fast Enough, Dear," where he changes the pace on it. And this is a fucking incredible chorus.
Isn't it, though? Isn't it just glorious? I mean, this is soaring. This is eyes to the sky. This is, the fucking passion in this.
I can't imagine that their live show gets any better than this.
No, I think they very often ended on this song because as a huge sing along, and everyone, you've done Parklife as your final song before the encore. You come back for the encore and you finish on this.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
I think some really nice guitars in this. I do think it's a good song.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the other two tracks that I like on this.
Okay, yeah, End of a Century.
Just because
Yeah.
there's just bits of the vocal that pull on me a little bit.
Okay.
But it is a good song. I'm certainly not saying
I think this is one, I reckon, even if every other song had been Girls and Boys on here, I would forgive the album for this. But I think this is just amazing. I'd forgotten how much I liked this. I remember liking it at the time. And again, this wasn't a single, but it was played loads. Everyone was like, "Oh, you got to check this song out." And so I'd forgotten how much I liked it, and I've just been caning this one over and over and over. Oh, wonderful stuff.
No, this is a nice song.
There are a lot of references to the shipping forecast, which is kind of what it's based on. There's a lot of mentions of places around England or around Britain. And so the line, "This is a low, but it won't hurt you," is that lovely double meaning of, okay, it can be a low pressure thing, can be a weather thing, or it can be, all right, look, you're going through a shit time, but you'll get through it. I think that's really nice.
Yeah.
And this guitar, this solo, I think is perfect. Again, they're letting Graham Coxon do something a bit more interesting. And this really scuzziness of it, but it's still heart-wrenching for me.
And I think it's really interesting what they're doing. They've almost got it's almost got like this kind of post-rock feel in the drums. Because because most of the way through this record, Dave Rowntree is doing this. Boom,
Oh, mate.
ba-boom,
He's not being
ba-boom.
challenged at all, yeah.
And here's like some nice. He's got some space and some
Yeah.
nice fills.
Absolutely.
This is this song breathes.
Exactly. There is space in this. The whole thing is expansive.
Again, there's an authenticity to it.
Right.
Where you go like when he's singing that, he sounds like he means it rather than he wants you to think something.
Okay, yeah, right, sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is from the heart. Oh, I do think so. Weirdly, I'm reading around this one, he hadn't written the lyrics till like the day before. They had the song, the tune, and he couldn't work out what he needed to do. And he got inspiration because one of the other band members had bought him a tea towel of the shipping forecast in all the areas. And he just fucking went, "Oh, this'll do. This works." And he made stuff like that. And so in a day, he made this song, or made the words for it. And I think that's incredible because this is one of the most touching ones on here. I think this is most affecting, and it was like done last minute in running out of time.
Yeah, I think with music that can often be the case. You tap into something and it comes out fully formed.
Yeah, but I think it's fully formed. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
5 minutes long, and again, I could listen to this 4 times over.
Yeah, this is a great song.
Absolutely wonderful. Love it. And like I say, that is realistically the last song on the album.
Yeah,
it's track 15 of 16.
So yeah, lot 16 is lot 105, which is what we will describe as a hilarious outro, which I will give a just a no words, 1 thumbs down answer.
Yeah, no, this is bullshit.
Yeah,
Absolute bullshit. Why would you spoil the album like this?
Yeah.
If you have managed to finish on "This Is a Low," why would you do this?
Yeah, I've no idea. It's a terrible idea, but I'm not really the best placed person to comment on badly conceived.
No,
but look,
I don't get it though.
So shall we? There's a lot of stuff on Twitter.
Yes, right.
Lots of stuff on Twitter. There's obviously
people, remember this one particularly well.
Right. Okay. So look, first of all, we've got Valky at Chelsea.
Hey, Valky.
Hello, mate. Agree with 95% of your reviews, but hatred of Blur is over the top. Well, I can only call them as I see them. My reasons for hating Blur, I think, are, and I don't hate Blur. I have a problem with Damon Albarn,
right?
And I hope I've made it kind of clear why.
It's not just a knee-jerk thing.
It's not just a knee-jerk thing. It's got some weight to it.
And it's also possible, Valky's handle is Chelsea Valky, so it's entirely possible that he's got some, skin in the game because he was Chelsea fan as well. Yeah. And so perhaps there's a kinship there that he feels with.
Well, maybe.
Look,
if we're doing the numbers, I'm in the wrong, aren't I?
Yeah, there.
But I stand by my thing.
Consistently.
Okay. So who we got next?
So then we've got Stephen Hill, True Cult Pop. He said lots. frankly.
He did.
Unquestionably, one of the most important albums released in my lifetime in regards and shaping my musical identity. Before this, most of the music I liked felt like it belonged to someone else from a different era, a different geographical place. Blur seemed to tap it into me, into my friends, into the Britain that we were living in there and then. It was unbelievably exciting, and without it, I'm not sure I'd have grown such a thirst and passion for exploring new music. I'm still always looking for the same sort of hit that Parklife gave me when I was upstairs playing darts with my mates in my bedroom, illegally drinking bottles of Foster's Ice before going to the local disco and shouting Tracy Jacks at the top of my lungs. Does it stand up today? I think so, but I'm well biased. If Dave slags off This Is a Low, he's dead to me. Right.
Yeah. So now this is interesting because I've said to Stephen before, like, there are very, very few people that I've ever met that I've shared more in common with than Stephen.
Mm-hmm. Some of the more kind of niche and obscure bands that you're into, he's right there with you.
I tend to share a lot of appeal, but we could not be further apart on this.
Mate, whenever he was on this podcast for Shakademus and Pliers, the two of you were fucking in sync with that. I was going, no, this is awful, and you both of you were like, it is, but it's fucking brilliant. Yeah. But no, not this time.
Yeah, no, not this time, man. Sorry, Stephen, man. I don't get it.
But one thing I think that we will agree on that you've said is just how important an album it was. This is a fucking massive album.
Sure.
It's important in terms of pop culture, like we've said. It's important in terms just for so many people of my generation. Mm-hmm. It was a turning point. I mean, Stephen's younger than us, so he was getting into this. You know, he must have been like 10 or something.
No, he's not that much younger than us. He's only a few years.
Yeah, but this came out when I was 19.
Yeah, when it came out when I was 18.
Yeah, well, whatever age he was getting into it as, you know, an early teenager, and I bet if you were, there you go. If you were 13, 14 when this came out, it probably would blow your mind.
Yeah, who knows? I may have liked it. I mean, I was a twat when I was younger, so it's possible.
No, you never know.
Anyway, look. So next, Zero's podcast. Hello, Niall.
Niall.
If you want to picture the future, imagine a plate of jellied eels being pushed into a human ear forever by some posh Oxford cunt dressed like a pearly king. I like you, Niall.
I think Niall's on your side with the Damon stuff, by the way. Definitely.
Yeah, I like you, Niall.
Sarcastic but fantastic. It said, I have no memories from when it came out. I was barely alive then, sorry. But since then, I've heard it on quite a few occasions and can honestly say it's chock full of top tunes and classic Britpop anthems. You might disagree, though. Can't wait to find out. Now, again, I think we would both fully admit that it is chock full of big pop tunes and Britpop anthems. Absolutely. Whether or not I enjoy all of those things is a different case. But no, mate, this is an album full of hits for sure.
Yeah. Martin Young, it's a weird album to assess now. Interesting to see if you can look beyond the kind of caricature persona it has, because there are lots of very clever songwriting, incredible hooks, really tender moments in here. The sound of a band capturing the zeitgeist and running with it. Yes, I guess so.
Well, I don't know. I would say that I don't know if they captured the zeitgeist.
I think they pulled the zeitgeist over with them.
Exactly. I think that what they did became the zeitgeist.
That's exactly what. That's how I feel. And for me, it's always been pulling the wool over someone's eyes. This thing.
I think they were a bit ahead of the game, and everyone went, "Oh, this is what I want." And then obviously there was just so many lower level indie bands who were like, we need to write stuff like Blur did and didn't do it. But I don't think they tapped into... Well, I suppose, we did have Suede and Pulp, like we say. There was something going on there. But I'm not sure if they were like, this is what's going to be big, let's do this. But also, I do think that what he said about the really tender moments in here, every song that I like most on this album is a slower one. Every single one.
There's 3 songs that I like on that album at all. Yeah, really. And I'd say I really like all 3 of them. Mm-hmm. And I really like them despite myself as well. Which kind of means they are really good.
Sure.
Because I'm being forced to go past my own kind of cognitive dissonance, my own bias.
But they're the slower ones.
I'm well aware there's talent in there, and he has got talent as a songwriter. I just... Mm-hmm. It's that and a bunch of other shit that he said, like the shit he said to Mike Scott. I can't be bothered to delve into all of it because we've got to do another run of these albums and I've got to keep it going.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, it is what it is, man. Anyway, so next we have...
we've got Joe Sullivan. She says, this is difficult for me. As a dance music lover, I was anti-US grunge and felt disdain for all of the grubby sweater, navel-gazing self-pity of the early 90s. Parklife tapped into something British and jaunty. Now I listen back and cringe at the mockney vocal stylings.
Which is the right thing to do.
Fair enough. Tracy Jacks is my favourite. I also remember bunking off and getting pissed on Mad Dog 2020 listening to it. And that, frankly, is talking my language. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. But no, it's very British, very jaunty, and neither of those things are intrinsically good. Mm-hmm. They can be, not a problem with either of those things, but by themselves, they don't determine, oh, that must be good because they're those things.
I'm interested to the thing of liking dance music, so having to dislike the kind of navel-gazing music. I'm interested in that, because I'm not sure that's... Because I liked both dance music and...
Oh, sure, but I also definitely would have known a lot of people who were into dance music and the very, very big drug culture that went with it, that would have had no time whatsoever for any guitar stuff. I definitely was, friends with people at university who were just into, all right, have you heard this new... Not Prodigy's not the one, because that would cross over. But it's like, all they were doing is going out raving, listening to ridiculously fucking hard beats.
Bad man rhythms.
Exactly. And if I was like, oh, have you heard this Screaming Trees record? They'd be like, fuck yourself. Yeah.
Right, so B Dramaturgy, Burnham. This album is as bad as I imagined. PCL is the best way to listen to bad albums. Big up.
There we go.
You've got a lifetime pass to listen.
We're doing the world a service. I suppose if you have to listen to it, if it's a bad album, you have to listen to it. You might as well listen to us suffering as well. If it's that bad, if I can't imagine anybody would have gone, oh, I'm going to listen to Alita Adams just to see what it's like. But if you came on the journey with us, then hopefully it, ameliorated some of the shit. Yeah. Chris Rice, the real Ricey, has said, it's one of my favourite albums of all time. Suddenly British music was exciting again.
For which I can only apologise. Chris, I hope you haven't held this episode too badly against us.
Now, the thing is, I would agree that this heralded and was a very distinct point where music got very, very exciting, and people were very excited about music again for a few years after this. Obviously, people like you and me would have been as excited about Nirvana in 91, but if it was the sort of thing that you were coming in as a very fresh-faced person, this was the kind of thing suddenly got you into music, I can only imagine the joy of the next couple of years for those people. So, fair play.
Right, we've got Ollie Woodstock. Been there, done that, bought the Durex logo T-shirt. Loved the album and their Glasgow 94 show. Have I listened to it since about 95? Not that I can recall. I suspect parts of it haven't aged that well, and they've released better albums since. Not The Great Escape.
Not The Great Escape. I think The Great Escape is one we have to do, though, isn't it? I think it got to
that's the Country House one,
That's the Country House, yeah. Okay. Well, no, again, Ollie... I imagine if you were there for Glasgow 94, I bet you were having the best time of your life. If you went and saw Blur, loving Blur, I bet you had some fun that night. Yeah. Request the 90s podcast said, well, it's done wonders for the career of Phil Daniels.
And we can debate whether that's a good thing.
But
until
we
come to the answer, no.
So many people wouldn't even have known who the fuck Phil Daniels was. So many, 18-year-olds or whatever in 1994, they wouldn't have given a shit. But suddenly, he's cool. Who's this guy?
But as a Brighton resident, there might be slightly less graffiti on the
walls, indeed. Request Tonight is also later said, I would also like to draw your attention to Blurred by Piano Man, which samples Girls and Boys. And it samples the Pet Shop Boys remix, I think, of Girls and Boys. And I remember that coming out. I had it on 12-inch because I was DJing in these sort of student-y clubs that was playing all the shit chart dance. And it's just awful. It's awful. But, it was a decent-sized hit because, it was fucking catchy.
It's John McCormack.
Yes, John.
Yes, John, our friend John McCormack. Featured in The Guardian this week for his new computer game,
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing if Dave can get through it. I seem to remember him shouting, all barn, running over and switching the music off at my 40th because a Blur track got on the Spotify mix. Haven't seen a reaction like that since my mum heard NWA and got the holy water out.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't disbelieve that story. I've heard so many stories about John and his family that I genuinely believe that his mother would have got holy water out having heard NWA.
Yeah.
Sean O'Toole, our mate
up.
Sean, he says, I like the first two Blur albums, but by the time this came out, Cool Britannia was cranking up and I was done. Pretty sure I've only heard the singles, no albums listens at all. I also cannot wait to hear Dave going full Hulk after listening to a Blur album loads of times. So, yes, our friends definitely know what was going to be happening.
Well, I hope you got what you wanted out of it, Sean.
Yeah.
And my misery made you fucking happy.
Yeah.
Gaz, hello, Gaz man. I enjoy a lot of the material from Parklife, particularly This Is a Low and To the End. I like both of those. Damon and Alex both seem like cunts. So,
that's pretty much.
Come on.
That's really tapping into your mindset there, Dave.
That's literally, yes, that's where I'm at, man. We've got another Gaz next.
Yeah, Gaz Jones, also from the True Cult Pop podcast. 1994, the year I developed a taste for alcohol, fags, and failing exams. Also the year I played this album along with Trouble Gum every day. He always just has to get the therapy in there.
I fucking needs therapy.
All the while exploding with angst while living in a dreary East Anglian town. The Britpop delights have finally got started.
Oh, Gaz, mate,
Yeah.
this is...
I'm
I'm glad you love it.
Oh, no, totally. And you're right. This is going to be the start of so many albums, I reckon, that you were into that we're going to be talking about now. Cliff, a.k.a. Smogo, he said, I only listened to it for the first time last month. I've always liked the singles, but I was surprised by how many of the album tracks instantly grabbed me. It's really good, Dave. But brackets, Damon's Mockney whine can definitely grate at times, though.
Look, Cliff, man, I mean, you're entitled to your opinions, and you have many of them.
Many of them about the Venga Boys.
Yeah, but look, man, Venga Boys.
Venga Boys.
I mean, you're fundamentally wrong on this one. Walker Tate, hello Walker,
Hey,
how are
Walker.
you, man? It's amazing that for being a capital I important indie band, Blur is such a non-entity in the States, except for the catchy song number 2. Albarn's weird cartoon novelty act far outshines them here. I have never listened to this album, but probably should, just for education. Oh, mate, I wouldn't bother.
Well, he comes back. There's an update.
We have update. I listened to it. Hard agree with Dave. Can't help think these songs would be better with a vocalist who can sing, because these are well constructed pop songs. Otherwise, also remember the 90s rivalry between Oasis and Blur. To my earlier point, in the US, Oasis mopped the floor with Blur. You only heard about Blur in relation to Oasis until Song 2 started appearing in commercials. However, unlike Liam Gallagher, Damon Albarn never got smacked in the head by Van Connor's bass, so there's points there.
Yeah, and I was reading a bit about that. Van Connor from Screaming Trees. The Screaming Trees supported Oasis in the States at some point because Oasis were fucking huge. And apparently they hated each other.
Oh, yeah. There's loads of stuff in Mark Lanigan's biography.
Yeah.
He really wanted to fight Liam Gallagher, and Liam Gallagher literally taunted him with massive bouncers.
Right.
Because Mark Lanigan could fucking throw hands.
Oh, I reckon I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that.
Mark Lanigan was a fighter.
Yeah.
And a heroin addict.
Exactly. And nothing to lose, frankly.
I would have loved it if he'd have beat the shit out of Liam.
All right, thank you, Walker, for that. Thank you
Cheers,
for checking
Walker.
it out and doing your due diligence. David Burgess, he said, came out in my final year at Leeds University and first Blur album I bought. Loved the singles at the time, and the whole album was full of great songs. Girls and Boys was a huge tune in indie clubs. Not what Dave wants to hear. Sorry.
You're not telling me anything I
No,
don't.
but you're right.
Know, mate. I mean,
Fucking massive in indie clubs.
I would always rather like something than not like something.
Yeah, but no, it was just huge. Yeah, but look, thank you so much to everyone who got in contact. That's a really good a chunk of feedback there.
Absolutely. So look, I mean, what are you saying? This album as a whole, in summary, what are you saying?
In summary, I was kind of nervous going into it because I was like, I'm going to hate this, and then it's just going to be an absolute kicking from both of us. And I thought I didn't want to do that, but if that's what happened, it's happened. And so I went into it and came out the other side going, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
The ones I knew I disliked, I still kind of disliked.
Yeah.
I have mellowed on Parklife itself. I still fucking hate Girls and Boys. Yeah. I've mellowed on Parklife, but there were other ones in there that I don't remember at all that I thought were okay.
Sure.
And the ones I remember liking, I still like. So I came out going, well, thank God.
Yeah.
That could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, I as an album, I think it's bad. The reaction I have to the stuff I don't like is so visceral that it kind of subverts the other stuff. However, on a 16-track album, there's 3 tracks on it that I do go, actually, these are
right.
I can't argue with these.
And you say 16-track, 3 of them are shit interludes.
Well, that is true.
So,
as well,
13-track album, there's 3 of them that you're okay with.
Yeah, which is, that's not bad.
We've had much worse.
We have had much worse. Yeah. I haven't disliked anything quite as much as some of the songs on here.
Right.
It hasn't changed my opinion in general. But, here we are.
Okay, well, you got through it, and I'm impressed that
Yeah.
you managed to force yourself to listen to it. X amount.
Like, if you know me at all, the fact that I did this for no money,
Yeah, indeed.
for just work. If you listen to this podcast and you've ever had any doubt that I fucking care about this,
Yeah.
there you go. That's it. Because I really did not want to listen to that record 5 times.
No. Okay.
Anyway, right, so guys, thank you so much for joining us.
We've got to put some songs on
Oh,
the
fuck,
playlist.
we've got to do some songs on the playlist, yeah.
So, question 1, how many songs we doing?
Oh, man.
Because you're saying there are 3 that you're okay with.
Yeah.
Would you want to put all 3 on,
No.
or is that too far?
This is not a 3.
Or is it just a 1?
Okay, so for me, it can't be a 3. We only had 3 songs from a fucking great record. If a record was terrible, but it had 3 of the best songs I've ever heard, and we got to this point, I wouldn't want to add all 3 of those songs because it's
Misrepresented.
misrepresents
Okay.
the album. That's my
okay.
personal feeling. We have no actual hard and fast rules about it.
No,
We've
no,
never
no.
discussed it. We've put it down, but that's my interpretation. of it.
Okay.
For me personally, this would probably be a 1-song album.
Okay.
Right? But you like it a lot more than me.
Uh-huh.
So I would probably make the case for definitely 1. Obviously, we have to have definitely 1.
Yeah.
But I could concede 2.
I think this is definitely at least a 2.
Okay.
I think there are enough just really good songs that we can put 2 really good songs on the playlist.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that.
Okay. Let's see if we agree on the 2.
I think I would go End of the Century, This Is a Low.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah?
Yep. No, I'm fine. I think those are the 2. Yeah, my third one would then be To the End. But,
and that's what.
But yeah.
My personal 2 favourites would be End of the Century and To the End. But you love.
I think this is. I think
the amount that you love This Is a Low,
right,
versus the difference between those 2 songs for me.
I see, that's
outweighs
swung
it. That's where.
Okay. Yeah. No. In that case, we'll do 2. We'll do those 2. Perfect. We'll stick those onto our ongoing playlist, which is songs from every single album that we've had to do. That was
we should
number 1.
link that up on social media.
Oh, we
at
always
some
do.
point.
Yeah, that's right. We'll do
Well,
that.
actually, we should retweet or re-exit or whatever.
Re-X.
Exit.
X going to give it to you.
When you say exit, it's such a fucking stupid fucking thing.
Bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
What a cunt that black is. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. We will be back with our special on Stacked Up.
Yeah. Check that shit out.
And then what we got after that?
After that, then we have Erasure.
Ah, yeah,
Yes,
Erasure.
so
Erasure, which I constantly get pulled up on the way I pronounce it.
Well, yes, you do.
Because I put a U in it.
Yeah, Erasure.
Erasure.
Yeah, exactly. No, we got Erasures, I Say,
Erasure.
in 2 episodes' time, but we'll do a special on Censor because that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
If you don't know the Censor album, by the way,
Do give it a listen, man.
Honestly,
Stacked
mate.
Up. Eject the
Fucking-
program, reject the style.
yeah, it's great.
Guys, thank you for joining us. Take it easy. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye! Thank you for checking out this episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. It was produced and edited by us, for which we can only apologise. We are on Twitter at PCL Podcast, on Instagram also at PCL Podcast, and facebook.com/PCL Podcast. All of these, plus links to our various Spotify playlists, etc., are on our website, which is pclpodcast.com. Please feel free to get in contact via any of the social media or on pclmusicpodcast@gmail.com.